Kevin Mills. Let's see if he's in, shall we? Oh, not here today. No, wait, actually, he is here. He just entered. Let me give you a little guided tour of my office. This is the last time it'll look like this. North Central University, when I asked them for a large computer screen, they obliged me. Very, very kind of them. I've turned the walls into a jazz shrine. Good old Dizzy there. You got saxophone colossus. When my girls were little, they used to sit in their little car seats in the back seat, and they would go crazy for St. Thomas. And in the extended drum solo, they would kick their feet at the big cymbal crashes. Very, very delightful. Al Jarreau, huge impact on me. Not going to talk too much here. Bill Evans, absolutely transcendent music. Some of the gentlest stuff I listen to, but also some of the deepest. Gino Vanelli. I caught him live at Glam Slam in Minneapolis many years ago, and his sound was absolutely stunningly perfect. Phenomenal writer, great concert. Here's the biggie right here, people. John Coltrane, Blue Train. John Coltrane was an acquired taste for me. I didn't really get him. My first exposure to him was with albums such as this. You know, he played on Miles Davis recordings next to Cannonball Adderley on alto, and for my aesthetic dollar, I always thought Cannonball was the one who had it going on. So I didn't really get Coltrane until a sax player hipped me to this album, and then I got it. Then I understood what it was all about, and for good reason. Hey, but here's where it begins. Interesting that I would say John Coltrane was a biggie. This is where it all begins. When I was 10 years old, my Uncle Curly, his real name was David, but he had curly hair, so we called him Uncle Curly, gave me Big Swing Face, the Buddy Rich Big Band. I was only 10, and psychedelic stickers were in, so I got a couple of those and put them on Buddy's face. When I was 15 years old, my dad took me to see Buddy at the Prom Ballroom, and I got his autograph right there. It was one of the most important evenings of my life, a defining moment, absolutely important beyond description. So when I was giving him the album to sign, I said, "I'm sorry about the eyeballs, I was only 10 at the time." And Buddy signed that thing, and he looked up at me and said, "So you're 11 now, Kevin?" That was a good joke, because I was 15 and I looked more than 11. Same era, Maynard Ferguson. When I think of Maynard, I think of my dear old buddy, Chris L.B. Weiss. Oh, the fun we had with Maynard. Saw him live on many occasions. Here's a little more Buddy. Fabulous stuff. You know, I heard about Weather Report somewhere along the way. I thought they were a big band. So I got Black Market, and of course it's not big band in the least. And I thought, oh shoot, this isn't big band. Listened to it again and again. I thought this is some of the coolest stuff ever. And this album right here, Weather Report, with Teen Town on it and Palladium. Can hardly overestimate the importance of that one. Here's a hip looking guy. Got him off Amazon because they really captured it there. The famous jazz portrait. I'll try to get the glare out here and move in a little bit. Fabulous. Funny thing, here we are at a Christian school, and students come in, and the first thing they notice is, man, how many of these guys smoke? Well, most of them did. Most of them do. And it is kind of silly to have all these guys smoking on my wall here. When Wendy and I started dating, she knew a guy named Brian who was a little protective, and he thought Wendy was making a mistake with this guy named Kevin, so this quickly became one of my very favorite cartoons of all time. See if you can get that. Brian has a rendezvous with destiny. Yeah, I'd like to see Brian after that, you know what I'm saying? There's the Squier bass. It's fretless bass. I call that one Flip. More music here. Miles Davis. I mentioned Cannonball. He always had good drummers. Philly Joe or Tony Williams. Tony's on this disc right here. Disc. Can you believe that? This LP. He took a solo on this album that still influences the way I solo. Gosh, it's got to be 30 years later. Time Out, Dave Brubeck. Hippest cotton picking thing. This is definitely one of my desert island recordings. Another instrument on the wall over here. This is Rockin' Smurf, the Fender Marauder. Very, very affordable and super great feel. Great for the funky, play that funky music white boy kind of guitar playing. It just kills on that thing. Got some more instruments over here. Here's my Buffet Super Dynaction alto sax with the perpetually sticking G sharp key. You can see my powder paper in there. There's my Yamaha 62 tenor sax. I call the tenor Curly Joe, and the alto is SpongeBob Music Pants. My latest saxophone acquisition, this is pretty exciting, is Big Otis. Look at that, you kidding me? Oh yeah, Big Otis is all about the attitude. A Yamaha 52 absolutely plays like $1,000,000. Sounds so huge, very exciting. So this is my office, people. You can see I keep my office very clean, very tidy, everything in its place. Hate to have to be looking for things, you know what I'm saying? A couple more albums over here. When I was a freshman at the university, my friend Mike Krikova had me over to his apartment. He was playing Seawind, and I said, man, that sounds great. He said, this is gospel. I said, no way. Sure enough, Seawind was the very first exposure I had to Christian music that was cutting edge and super hip. Weather Report, Black Market, that's the one I mentioned, my first one, thinking, oh, this is a big band. Joke's on me. Hi-Lows. When I was taking piano lessons from Herb Wigley, and I said, who would be a good jazz vocal group to listen to? He said, well, certainly the Hi-Lows. So I just bought this off the shelf. These guys are brilliant. The writing is spectacular. The performing is spectacular. I tried to transcribe one of their tunes once because I was teaching jazz vocal writing in choral arranging, and they don't use much of a stereo separation. All the voices are straight down the middle, and all these guys sound like each other, and it was unbelievably difficult to see which voice was moving and which one was staying, so I had to make a ton of educated guesses. But I think it worked, and I learned something. Here's another transforming recording in my background. This taught me to chip eighth notes with my left foot. With my left foot playing funk. David Garibaldi on the drums. Oh man, I cannot imagine how many hours I spent drumming to this. This is my first exposure to the great Pat Metheny, and it is still just absolutely a brilliant album. The compositions are killing. I think he was 19-ish when he did this. That ain't right, people. Got a little bit of artwork here on the wall. Happy birthday, Dad. Something mushy from my wife. Little George Benson. Trevor going crazy with the stickers and telling me to get well soon. I've got a couple awards up here. Up on top is the Best Popsy Award. I won that from Carly. She also made me this and gave me one of Brecker's hairs. Brecker's whiskers. Always enjoyed that. Here's Brecker. He was sure a good fellow. We enjoyed him a great deal. He had a lot of personality. Oh, and another award from another child. Trevor said I was the best dad and musician. You know, that's not bad. That's a serious achievement. So I'm happy to display that one. Over here, Wendy tells me the best is yet to be. I'm pretty sure I'm going to remind her about that when I get home tonight. Oh, that's cute. This little guy is a going away present from my colleagues, Rebecca and Joanne. I told them, oh yeah, you bet I'll display that with pride, and I do. he's got his hands a little above the keys, you know, vertically. He's got them higher on the instrument than they should be, so he's clearly doing some kind of alternate technique that I'm not hip to, but he does it with style. Absolutely. Got a little music store going up here, accessories, things that got stuck in a drawer at some point and probably need to go somewhere else. So there you have Kev's office. It's never going to look like this again. Served me well. Hip place to hang, hip place to make music. I've enjoyed my time here.